is terrible.
For creativity.
Absolutely terrible for creativity. I'm smoking some right now. That's like counterproductive to what I'm saying. But the more I've thought about it, the more conversations I've had with people, the more I've looked at it and seen it for myself. This is great if you're like super into abstraction and just like making stuff, but if you like want to treat your body well and your health seriously, smoking is like a terrible way to try to induce like really interesting
Visuals. Like, weed is not
good for that. If anything, you should probably be like some kind of psychedelic, and even then, like most artists who make like psychedelic work off of drugs, like the work is interesting to look at, but I don't think they were enjoying themselves. This is gonna be super rough and like format loose. Initially, I wanted to talk about my own like
journey with substance abuse and
like the idea of suffering as an artist. I think inherently is tied into this idea that life isn't fair.
which it isn't, like, fundamentally. I don't think it is. I'm using big words. Basically, it's not.
Life isn't fair, right? Like we all know that. That's the baseline. So if suffering is the standard, it's easy as an artist to revel in your suffering and to constantly channel that and to put it out because it's the most like it's close to home. It's honest, like whatever trauma that it is that you're focusing on.
And
You know it so intimately and so well that
it will come out of you. And it'll make sense to you. And if it makes sense to you,
I think the work speaks a lot more to other people automatically.
because you know what you're trying to say. And that kind of clarity, I think, is the real mission.
You know, I saw a video from some Instagram influencer who was talking about their own journey with sobriety, and it made me sit down and be like, damn, I haven't been dead sober for longer than 3 months in
like 7 years, maybe.
the last time I can remember being sober for an extended period of time. I was like 17,
And then I did a
brief stint when I was 21. And that was after some very like again trauma, like suffering. Like that's ironic that that's what inspired this video, motivated me to record this at all. I wanted it to be interesting. I wanted it to like have all this big stuff surrounding it, but my own journey with like substances starts like way back
in like high school. And I've just always been, I think, a bit of a like just brain wired differently. Came to find out, obviously, later on, it was some kind of, not some kind of, I have bipolar, right? I have bipolar too. So this stuff isn't good for that. At least that's what they told me.
constantly. But I always used to say to myself, I feel the most normal when I'm high.
Like, I feel rational, or rather, I feel less emotional, like far less emotional, far less sensitive to the things around me and the things that people say or do or like not hear or do hear.
I felt that way for a long time. A very long time about myself.
I don't know if this is making any sense at all, but essentially that's kind of the point, that the more you smoke shit, the less sense you're gonna make to most people, the less clarity you're gonna have with yourself, and the less clarity
You're going to be able to express as an artist. And if that's what you're looking for in your work, that's what you're pursuing, which I think in this current modern age is very hot, this level of abstraction, because the reality is too painful it's too painful to try to say what's going on right now for everybody, and that means that nobody's saying anything real. But we've also like kind of told ourselves that suffering isn't what makes art interesting. It isn't what has canonized all good art. And I'm sitting here looking at it and I'm like, I don't think that's true. Not that statement. I think the idea of like making yourself suffer to make good work is stupid. I think we should live their lives, but if they experience something important, they should do that. But I think because suffering is so inherent, any real story that you tell, you can pick it up in the background. Like any real full story, I feel like. That's why we like that arc so much of conflict. Like, here's a guy, conflict, and you're of a resolution, because things resolve themselves and then another thing shows up. Like, a story without a resolution is an unfinished work. And I think suffering without some kind of conclusion to it is an unfinished work. And I think you as the artist, if you're constantly putting yourself in this fight or flight mode, you're constantly suffering to make better work, you're never doing anything new, right? And that is the whole point of making things, is to figure out new things about yourself, not to keep reliving your trauma. At least to be as an artist, that's how I view it. Because I don't value just continuous suffering, and I feel like I've been putting myself through that really enough with like just substances in general. I used to do a lot more crazier shit when I was younger. I've struggled to kick smoking for the longest time now. I try like every year and I fail miserably because I'm just this anxious bull. So it's just a lot of mess in me. I think that's just what it means to be an artist. It's like just even when the most organized ones are saying, there's like a bit of mess to it, you know, fundamentally. It takes a lot of new stuff to make really cool shit, I think. Yeah. I'm not entirely sure what the point is of this, if there is one. If there needs to be one. And that's probably the weed talking. It's probably the extraction. Following this way through my mind. Oh shit. It's normally this like crazy brown praying mantis that shows up here. And that's a roach. Wow. Not the bug, but the joint. Yeah. Crazy brown praying mantis shows up here. And every time I see it, I just have like this visceral reaction because I feel like I'm entering its space. And disturbing something that otherwise would be just moving along, eating all of the bugs it can find. They're such freaky creatures, but they're so beautiful and so like wise looking. Very wise looking. Freaky though. Real freaky shit. My partner rolled that joint for me, and she's lovely. I hope to have her somewhere. I wanted to be more involved with like stuff that I do. Don't tell her. She's super involved with me. She's super involved. I just want to show her face everywhere. I think she's one of the most important people to me ever. And I wouldn't be the artist that I am right now without her. I wouldn't have turned into the person that I have without her.
grateful. Really, really grateful. Yeah.
Anyway, this has been fun.
It's been a mess. There's a lot of gaps here. There's a lot of silence. I think the lighting's super bugged too. But yeah, I think this is
Episode 0 of Kaso's Corner. I'm Kaso, by the way.
that wasn't obvious.
I'm very cooked. I'm very cooked. Pretty yoinked.
And just really excited.
I don't even know why I'm talking about all that shit.
I'm gonna be at Comic-Con. Actually doesn't feel real coming out my mouth. But I'm gonna be tabling at Comic-Con this year, Comic-Con Africa 2025.
And yeah, something that really excites me, something that's been really surreal to see. I told my very small following on Instagram, put that somewhere here, that this is kind of a big deal to me. I get a haircut. I look crazy and crusty right now. I know that, and that's just kind of
it is. But
I'm still just doing this shit. There's so many things I want to say about that specifically. I probably will make another video next week talking more extensively about how that's been. I've been in this workshop for 2 weeks now officially. After this last one, this past week was kind of crazy. We were at CPUT. Might throw in a video somewhere here if I feel like editing this. But yeah, we were at CPUT and it's cool. Cool is an understatement. It's really sick.
really sick is also an understatement.
It's incredibly humbling and awe-inspiring.
And just really full body shakes and sweats almost take me over when I go into that space, just because of the
art that I'm looking at and the people that I'm around. And just the things going on. I prayed for this for a very long time.
and God came through, and that is something that
I can't not say. And for the last 2 years, every time I've been praying, it's God's come through. God's come through.
Anyway, it's been a ramble. It's been a bit of all over the place. But yeah, Comic-Con. I might talk about that a bit more. Inside.
Because I'm supposed to go paint now. I got 5 commissions due. Five. That was weird. I got 5 commissions due. They're all in varying phases of completion, because I feel like that's just the life of an artist. You're just doing so much shit. I collected full sticks today that I want to turn to paint brushes, because I remember seeing this lady on Instagram who just, she just makes tools, and that's her whole practice is making art tools, and
Just finding out what marks she can use or make with that. And it's really fascinating to me how the art is the tool and the mark that is being made there. There's a very intriguing connection behind the story of the tools that artists use and why they use them.
and somebody building those tools, you kind of see the brain of the art maker making the art making tool and the marks that have been made by that art.
It's nice and meta and
Weird and fun, and it just made me want to make paint brushes, because I'm wow, you can just do that, That's always the best feeling to get from art. I feel just when you see something and it's so inspiring that you're just oh, I can do that, and then you go try it and you fail miserably, and then you realize how much time and work went into that person's art. I wish I could think about it and find it. I'm pretty sure she's this Middle Eastern lady, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong. But it's gone. It's gone.
Also been thinking about David Attenborough recently for some reason. Just like his voice keeps popping up in my brain. I think it's because I used to like watch a lot of nature documentaries when I was a kid. And I've been trying to pay more attention to like stuff outside, just looking at trees and plant life and trying to make that make sense to me. The more I talk here, the more good it feels to talk as well. I don't usually talk this much ever to anybody. Yeah, like ever to anybody. It's kind of surreal to me. It's surreal. Like, remember that you have a platform, that you don't just like, you're not just an entity to people. You're not just like some phantom thing. Like, you also are in connection with that thing. And it doesn't have to be as painful as you make it out to be. Again, kind of coming back full circle. I think this is a good place to call it. Full circle moment. Yeah, just remembering that it doesn't have to be painful. It doesn't. It can just be straightforward, as straightforward as it can be, and you don't have to really think too hard about what it is that you're trying to say on that day. If you don't want to, there's just a space for you to ramble and not put anything into fruition. That's fine. It's kind of what art is. Sometimes you just need to scribble. I think that's kind of what this is for me. This is me scribbling, trying to figure out what it is that I want this to be. But I know that I've been needing to do this for a long time. For a very long time. I've been needing to just kind of get more comfortable expressing myself to the camera. Because I know I've been looking over there. Because again, I'm high as shit. I don't want people to like see that. I don't think you can. But I feel it. And I'm like, damn, okay. I'm high. I need to be conscious of my movements and my like, what. But I think that's why I wanted to have like, I kind of had that idea of like, this is what I want to speak about. So I could jump off from there and just keep going. So if you ever, I guess that's also something that I've learned, just continuously interacting with people and kind of being around art events, hosting my own art events, co-hosting events, being in workshops. You just have to keep on winging it. So much of it is so it's like you can have a lot of ideas, and that's good because it means that you're constantly ideating and you constantly you have things tucked. You have things tucked that you know you can use, and if you execute on them the way that you think that you can, it gets better. So it's good to ideate always. But in terms of like, I don't know, people who like come up with like crazy content plans and scripts and like just really go super hard, I get why that happens because it's an industry now and people need to eat and people take things very like serious. Money's a very serious thing. It's a very serious thing. As a father, I have been so humbled in that aspect that finances are real, but I'm scared of money for some reason. I'm also like deeply traumatized by it, very deeply traumatized by it, being in proximity to wealth, but never truly also understanding you have that access until you're already no longer fully in that. And now you're kind of in this like pure in between of that is odd, yeah. Like it's just my experience of like being able to like see like a really rich family and then like go and hang out with like really broke friends and not broke, poor, like poor. Broke is me being like nice, poor. Seeing that constantly too, not just like, oh, this is once, like 24 years of it. Yeah, I don't know what the point of what I was trying to get at with that, but pain and suffering, you don't have to use that only. I actually recommend most artists not to use it, if anything. I feel like you should try to beguile people, like rather an audience of some kind, with like the more lighter subject matter of your life and the life that you see in general, because there is a lot of light around most of the time. I think when humans are active, there's light around, even if you don't feel that way or you don't see it. There's places where that's not the case at all, and suffering is the standard. I understand that, but in the modern context, at least where I'm at, but in general,
you see how those things don't. In my brain, they can't coexist.
But I think in general,
the standard of living has improved a lot for people in a lot of places.
And poverty looks so different now. So different. It's surreal sometimes seeing it, what it looks like now versus like 20 years ago, 40 years ago. But that pain and suffering, it's the base, you know, like showing good things that stand in that, like this, and then you add, or you like surface it, you add the roof of it,
which is like your protection, you know, like something to cover it, something to like wrap it up.
I guess in art, I feel like is how you create a sound structure, you know. Then it's like the finishing touches.
All that detail that comes afterwards is super important. Super important. I've been weaving and rambling because I've been high. I wanted to do that. I'm gonna wash this back, but yeah. You can find me on Kaso you can find me on Instagram
At Kaso.
I think it's the same on Twitter. If it's not, I'll go find it and just turn it into that. I don't have a website anymore.
I had a domain, but I'm broke and I can't afford it.
So, if you want, you can hit me up on Instagram. My commission's almost always open. Delivery times vary, as always. Anyway, hit me up there. Hit me up.
And yeah, again, Comic-Con Africa 2025. I'm gonna be there. I'm gonna be tabling alongside 9 other incredible